Welcome to Fuel. Fuel stands for Finance, Unity, Empowerment, Legacy. Join us today as Dr. Jackie, Dennis, and Mac continue their discussion in part two of I Have the Money, What Now?
And so as we talk, you see how it is cyclic, that the gaining of money, we're in a capitalistic society. We all know that. And you need the money, you got to have the money to do even the basic, even if you're really good with money, right? And so so many times you hear people say, I just need, if I could just get rid of all my debt, if I didn't have to pay all these bills, I would be set. But how many times have you also heard, or even been the individual who had a moment when you could bring yourself to ground zero with your debt? And then, like Dennis's daughter, 3 months later, you look back and say, what just happened? How come? I don't understand. How come it didn't work? How come it didn't work? And that's part of what an advisor or a financial professional can help you look at, what a CPA can help you look at. But so many times it's right back there because we're still living off of that credit. So there is a need for a mind shift as you're doing the planning, so that you don't just step out of the mud and then back into it 2 steps down the road.
Yeah, I was raised in projects in Philadelphia, and you get these things because you're with your friends, and there's things you want. You want a nice car, you want to get away from the projects, you want a nice house. You don't really want an apartment, you want a nice house, you want some land, and you want nice clothes, and you want. But when I grew up, there were no credit cards. So you had to either pay on time, which means like layaway or something, or you had to wait until you had the money. And we've gotten so far away from that now that people actually think credit cards are money. And they're not. That number that's in your bank account, that's all you have. If it says $1,000, you cannot buy an $800 purse. Unless you plan on selling it later. So you gotta be, they used to call it keeping up with the Joneses. You gotta stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. You make a plan for your life, and you do whatever it takes to stay out of debt. Because like I said, debt is the greatest threat to your wealth. We always teach protection, debt management, have an emergency fund, and then have some investments. And a lot of times you need somebody to guide you from step to step. It's okay. Don't let your ego get you in trouble. I would say, I don't know if it was my ego that got me in trouble or I was cheap. There's a difference between being frugal and cheap. I did not want to pay a person to manage my houses that I own. I did not want to pay a CPA. I did not want to pay a lawyer. Guess what? I had to pay a lawyer. Then I had to pay a CPA. And well, it was too late for a management on the houses because I lost them all. So you got to be conscious that there are going to be rocks in the stream. And these people help you go around those rocks. Like be like water and be flexible. And that's some of the things. I think I have like two more, I think. Did I say don't loan friends money?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That one has popped up twice on my list. I'm sorry.
So for those of you who remember, I'm a speech language pathologist, and one of our, as well as a financial professional, and one of our focus is on just general communication. which takes me to the understanding of words, which takes me to find out if your friends understand what loan or borrow really means when you're making that arrangement with your friends, if you dare do. I had to have that discussion with the relative. Do you know what borrow means? So that we could discuss the return of the money. But you also have all heard, don't give away what you don't think you're gonna be able to live without.
That's right.
Because it is probably a gift. Then you're gonna be mad. But the main point is you're gonna be without it because it's not coming back. So just something to think about. Yeah.
If I could count if I got all the money back that I've loaned out, I could not only buy a Max on Grecian Formula 49, I could buy Dr. Jackie a new Pashima, buy me a new car.
There we go.
My heart is still too big for my wallet, my pocketbook, my wallet. And I still lend money out, and I try not to, but sometimes people get in trouble. And you help them out, and you just got to try to make sure that their trouble doesn't take you down too. But you can't. There's nothing wrong with helping people, right, Matt?
Yeah, honestly, Dennis, when it comes to that, and particularly with family, I pretty much just said, you know what? Even though we understand the jargon of borrow or loan, ultimately, I don't expect it back. So if the situation becomes, can I give that amount of money away without an expectation of a return on my investment? And I just look at it that way. And so once the money is out, it's out. I try to keep those things to a minimum. I'll be frank with you. In my nonprofit or my professional life, I don't really have too many of my family involved. And it's for that reason, because I just don't need the complication of that. If we can definitely sit down and kick it privately on recommendations that I would suggest as far as money management is concerned. But when it gets into actually doing transactions with family members, I have one family member that is in the official capacity part of my nonprofit. And outside of that, that's only because my daughter, and that's because she grew up in it and she understands her dad. And so I can trust her on certain things related to that. But in this fuel environment that we're dealing with, and as far as money transactions and things of that nature, I have no family members with me. And it's the best decision that
But you know what they say about business with business and family?
Yeah,
A little sticky.
I just got a bad history with it. So how many times do you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different return? So it's just better. Look, I'll sit down with you for hours, and I will, give you the so-called sage wisdom, but to actually like invest in something. I honestly, just recently, I had a cousin come to me and wanted to do some kind of thing related to travel, and I'm just like, I just wasn't feeling it. So, it is what it is. So, I just think that just trying to kind of bring this all together. It There was a word that I've been thinking about. That word is just simply modesty.
Mm,
And if we live modestly, you can have everything without necessarily going into debt. I know that you brought up the Warren Buffett situation, and I use that many times in my analogy too. The man basically has a residential home, maybe larger than some, maybe not as large as others, but he's lived there forever, and he just understands that there are more important
mm,
things that you can be doing with your resources than to be buying up houses just to put on a facade that you're wealthy. You don't, you know, honestly, real wealthy people, you don't even know they're wealthy.
right, right.
There's
You
a
don't
book
even
called
know.
The Millionaire Next Door. It's a good book
Yes,
too.
they got the jeans on, they got their plaid shirt like me, and they just walk around and they live their lives. They take care of their families. They build for the future, and you would never ever know it. The cars are modest, but notice, but they're always running, and everything is always taken care of. And isn't that really the most important thing? Like, that you can walk out to your vehicle, when you crank the ignition, it will actually run. To know that if you need to do a repair on your home, you don't have to, rob from uh, Paul to pay Peter or whatever that is. You've got the resources there to be able to take care of even the surprises that might pop up, the unexpected things that pop up, and you're good. That's the way to live, and to be comfortable in it, to be able to afford your children the choices as far as their educational pursuits without having to go into major debt. Those are the things that we should be pursuing, not necessarily riding up, showing our bling and looking like millionaires, but to actually live a millionaire lifestyle, which is really more about modesty than a whole bunch of flash and dash.
All right. Way to say, go preach, preacher. I know what you were doing
Hey
in
man,
Africa.
this is what I do.
I know what you was doing. So here's the last two.
Okay.
So you hit your pinnacle. Do not quit your job right away. If you want to
Really
let somebody
now.
know you got money, quit your job. I mean, unless you retire quick. Okay, I retire quick. So don't quit your job. Your attitude is going to automatically change. Because
Yeah.
your boss come over to screaming at you, and you'll be sitting there like, fool, I don't need this job. I do it because I like it. Hey, you could like it somewhere else too. So I tell my daughter all the time, don't make it so that you gotta have a job. Make it because you want to have a job. And then the last one I have is, hey, let the money sit there for a while. Find a place to get better interest. Read some books. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm not trying to plug somebody's book, but read it. Read Think and Grow Rich. Read A Millionaire Next Door. Just understand what you got yourself into. Because money is not always the way to make you happy. For me, it's a close second, but it's not always all that you need. I would love to never have a financial issue in my life. Never need money again. But you got other things you got to think about. I think Dr. Jackie and I has a friend who was going through a tough health time, and don't want to spend money on possible health cures. That's absolutely crazy to me. Now, you understand if you spend your whole life saving money, it's hard to spend it. But I think Dr. Jackie sat that person down and said, hey, use some of your money. That's what it's there for. So make sure you use it as a tool and not as a crutch.
And so that brings us back. I'm sorry, Dennis, you weren't finished.
No, go on, Dr. Jackie.
Okay. I was thinking when a couple of things, when you mentioned that you were raised in the projects and and that, you learned certain things about money at that time, and you think of Stevie Wonder's song about, what is it?
Living for the city?
Yeah, no, for the city. Yeah, I was trying to think of that one line, but the point is that many times when we are coming up in our environments, we don't necessarily have the message and understanding that we are poor, right? It comes from the information society and other people around us give us to understand that. And that is in the need and the want. And the idea, I think nowadays, more kids, because we think we're in a better place, are getting those wants. They come out of their mouths with, mommy, daddy, I need that truck, or I need that whatever. But it is in a mindset of what your plan is and where you're going to help determine what a need and a want is, so that you can live within those needs. So I was just thinking about that as we were talking about these different things, because we do find it hard to stay out of debt. We do. And when we're in a society that makes it feel like you can shake the tree with the ATM card, we can shake the tree with getting a loan or getting this credit. We do not realize how much it is costing us, that interest rate that we sometimes talk about, and how that really impacts the paying back cycle. So just another thought, not just about the fact that you just gotten this big money from the lottery, but do understand that it starts at this level. And the reason why you then hear about something that's big is because so many people are running in, putting money, adding money into that pot. And so we're actually building it with that pot. And then that percentage of how many of us are going to actually be the winner, 1 in a million are going to be the winner, but we're building that pot bigger and bigger for that pot of gold.
But the good thing, Dr. Jackie, about growing up in the projects is, like you said, we didn't know we were poor. We were kids. Kids are never poor as long as they got a box, some string, a firecracker, and a tree. You're never poor. But when we wanted to use money to buy things, like we didn't have all that stuff y'all have now. We didn't have Xboxes and cell phones. And I see children with cell phones. There was none of that, and the only cell phone we had was your ear, and your ear was tuned to your mother's voice. And when your mother said, "Where are you?" "Oh, I'm here." You knew your mother's voice. But we always set out when there were financial things we wanted. It wasn't much back then. We would just go to McDonald's. That was the biggest treat that we had, or go to the pool. And we would get together and sell lemonade, or we built go-karts and sell rides. And it helped me think of the entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with how you grew up. and everything to do with how you have grown up, you know. And that's my take on everything that we look at. You know,
Right.
you have to grow up financially, you have to grow up mentally, you have to grow up physically, and just it's okay. And you can still be a child at heart. I love playing with my granddaughter. It's the funniest little thing. And I know if you have children or grandchildren, they are the funniest things that can bring laughter to your heart. So I do have a quick funny. Usually people ask me why my hair is black. Mac here sometimes he'll say I use this or I use that. But the funniest thing is my father just asked me why my hair was dark black, and I'm like, I usually tell people it's my mother and my father. I don't know how to answer that question from you. So just genetics and learning how to reduce your stress. Feng shui, baby.
Hey, Dr. Jackie, how we went from the financial aspects of life to Dennis's genetics as far as the hair. So it's an amazing transition.
Mhm.
Was on the list, okay?
But you know what? But I love it. I love it, you know, and I'm glad that obviously our brother, through everything, has had a pretty stress-free life. I can't really own that myself under the circumstances, but I will tell you this for our audience, it is becoming less and less stressful as I feel more like the commander and master of my financial destiny. And that security and comfort in really beginning to understand money, resources, protection, debt management, all of those things has been an exciting part of my latter days. And so I'm so excited to be here with you guys to kick these subjects around, knowing that I know we're helping people. I've gotten comments about it. And so I'm just hoping that as we continue on and as prayerfully my hair won't gray any more than it already has, and Dennis will maintain his dark locks, that
Melanin, baby.
yeah, that we can also help some other people to be less stressed.
Yes,
Hey,
absolutely.
a nice way to end our time together
Yes,
today.
yes.
So thank you,
Well,
everyone.
much thanks, much thanks. So on behalf of Dennis and Dr. Jackie and myself, this has been another fabulous edition of Fuel. Make sure to check us out on YouTube and also on Instagram, and reach out to us at Fueling Future Generations 2020 at gmail.com if you have any questions or just want to kick it with us and find out more about what we do financially. We're more than welcome and more than happy to have that conversation with you. Love you guys. Have a great rest of the day.
To your success.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Fuel. On behalf of Dennis, Dr. Jackie, and Mac, we just thank you for your patronage. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations, and also reach out to us by email at fuelingfuturegenerations2020@gmail.com with any questions or comments. Have a great day.